Everyone. It is time for my favorite middle-aged white man show. It is the 800. That's right, 800 edition of Office Hours. They haven't canceled us yet, even though we have a lot to unlearn. My mentors taught me that. His name's Blaine Bartlett. People ask me all the time, how did you learn so much? It's through Blaine Bartlett, the double B. Go to blainebartlett.com, taking his possibilities, making them our reality. Hopefully he's drinking water, not scotch. There we go. Or tequila, our favorite. And then, of course, my other friend and business partner, Rhett Power. He is an incredible co-host here on episode number 800. Thank you, gentlemen, for taking your time to pour in our community.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to be here.
We're blessed. Good. Well, we have some great friends here today for Office Hours, the soul of business. And speaking of the soul of business, those people for the sake of the betterment of advancement for all, what better guest could we ask than Felida Villarreal is here to join us, CEO of Valley Initiative for Development and Advancement, the VIDA. Welcome, Felida.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we are super excited. And as we come to the end of October, it is as National Learning and Development Month. VIDA is having a bigger anniversary than us with our 800 episode, 30-year anniversary. Give us a little bit of historical evolution of VIDA and how much advancement VIDA has made.
Yeah, definitely. So like you mentioned, we're really excited that this year we're celebrating 30 years. We are based out of Mercedes, Texas, so that we are located geographically in the southernmost tip of Texas. We are a border region with Mexico, and we cover 4 counties: Hidalgo, Star-Willacy, and Cameron. And so we were founded back in 1995 through the rural empowerment zones of the Clinton administration as a workforce development intermediary. So at the time, there was high levels of unemployment. Our region continues to struggle with challenges like high poverty rates, low levels of higher education attainment. And so we are an agency that tries to collectively address these barriers and these challenges through financial aid and helping students pay for degrees and job training programs, and providing these wraparound support services that go beyond their educational environment. So things like childcare, transportation, emergency needs that we often see, represent significant barriers to education success. But I think most importantly, we have a case management model. And so we have a great team. Currently, we're a team of 23 full-time individuals. And a lot of our team is comprised of career counselors. And so they are tasked with working one-on-one with participants and meeting them where they are in their career journey. So we know that, oftentimes different individuals require different types of support systems. And so that's really important when it comes to mentorship and guiding them and leading them along the way through their career journey to make sure that they are successful.
In 30 years, I sit on a couple of different nonprofit boards, and funding is always an issue in some way, shape, or form. And to be 30 years, in the trenches, doing the work, and not just doing the work. Your work has been highlighted in Fast Company. You were chosen U.S. Department of Labor's PACES evaluation, one of the 7 or 9 programs that were chosen for that. I'm curious about the curtailing of government funds. What kind of an impact is that having on your ability to actually scale your programs at this point in time? And what are the challenges that you're facing with right now?
Right. So historically, it's definitely, opened up other opportunities. Like you mentioned, being just in the nonprofit space, it's very competitive and resources are limited. And so it's important to stay creative and stay innovative in order to be able to sustain these types of programs. And so historically, we had been funded primarily with local support. So local city governments, local economic development corporations, which were our primary sources of revenue. However, as we started evolving and branching out into different types of grant opportunities, we've been successful in securing different types of grants from the state government and federal government, specifically Department of Labor. But I will say that within current times and current administration, there is a lot of uncertainty with those types of federal funds currently. And so as we look ahead, again, trying to pivot and find innovative ways to try to fill in these funding gaps when times and when priorities change, right? Because we even see that at the local level where budget priorities change from year to year. Different administrations have different priorities. And I think currently we've been extremely blessed and grateful for the outpouring of support from private foundations and corporate businesses as well. I think they've really stepped up their game in helping nonprofits navigate through these uncertain times.
Great. Thank you.
I mean, what you're doing is God's work for sure. And I'm so curious in your thinking as technology evolves, and there's we're such at a seminal moment, I think, with, let's talk about AI. Let's bring it out. Let's talk about it. Are you thinking about, as you train people for their next thing, is that part of the discussion? How do you upskill people with technology so that they can come in and really function and be useful to the companies that you're trying to place them in?
Yeah, definitely. So I think, as we look into the future, artificial intelligence and just digital literacy in general is, essential for any type of occupation and any type of industry. So we're seeing the tremendous impact that AI specifically is having in industries of STEM, healthcare, banking, you name it. And so what we do, aside from the traditional classroom coursework that our students are studying, our counselors hold monthly workshops with our students. And so these workshops are intended to provide them with leadership skills, but also soft skills that will help them be more competitive once they enter the job market. And one of the workshops that we focus specifically on is digital literacy and tools like AI, so that we ensure that not only our students are being exposed and familiar with these tools, but are acquiring, a level of proficiency. Because, moving forward, AI is not going to go away. It's just going to continue to evolve, and we're seeing, technology is continuing to advance. And so the more that we're able to prepare our students with these tools, the more competitive they will be in the workforce.
VIDA has been empowering others to empower others to make a lot of money and help a lot of people and have fun for over 30 years. That was back when Blaine was 50. So he has really seen some great advancements with VIDA. We appreciate the soul of business. Congratulations and happy anniversary. Felita, please promise us you'll come back and keep up the great work.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
We love you. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Doing God's work.
Good stuff.
That's for sure. And I'm sure Mercedes, Texas is as things get more challenging to do well and do good. It takes great leaders like Felita. Speaking of doing well and doing good, the CEO at everybody jumps down my throat. Unique Studio. Danny, welcome to Office Hours, episode 800.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good.
There he is.
It's good to be here.
Well, we're talking about AI in every conversation nowadays, and working under the context of avatars. They're becoming more real and more capable. Obviously, Unique has a unique way of utilizing these likenesses, which is a big issue for me in sports. But understanding the differentiators of what Unique can do in a meaningful way with human-centered interaction. What are some of the capabilities that we have today with these human-like avatars?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think when we went into the practical use of this technology, we started to think about where do we need to practice, and it became quite apparent that it will have all sorts of use, but one of the greatest uses of our technology is in training and role play and being able to practice. Because often, the real world is not as forgiving as you try to hone in your craft. You'll know this from sports. We know this from music. I don't know why we don't do it enough in the professional settings of business, sales, customer service, all these areas. And we just love this area for our technology because one of the things that it's getting really good at doing is actually having personality, simulating emotional responses, and being able to have the knowledge needed to really test your skills. So if it's simulating a customer, it's going to act like a customer, a chief investment officer. If it's simulating a staff member who you have to fire, it's going to have knowledge of the company and all the different maybe aspects of the dynamics of that role, and maybe even the legalities that could be associated with it. So it's super exciting space, and I think that's one of the things we underestimate with AI is there is some low-hanging fruit that just helps humanity. It's not always about replacing roles. It's actually helping people get better at what they do.
So then I'm fascinated. This role playing possibility here. I truly am fascinated with this. One of the things that you are actually infusing your platform with is empathy. There's an algorithm that I'm thinking here in terms of compassionate conversations that a patient would have with a doc in terms of their medical care and that sort of stuff. But I'm also thinking, I'm going to just jump the shark here and go someplace else with this. I'm an investor, or I'm looking for money from an investor. So could I set this up where I can actually get basically do a role play on a pitch, and set up an avatar where I've now got this curmudgeon here that's got $1 billion that I'm trying to get money from in order to fund this startup that I'm working with. And
I resemble that.
The whole or trying to get money from David.
Yeah.
Same difference here.
Yeah. I mean, it's the exact use case I've done personally for myself.
Okay.
So we were raising earlier in the year, and I just really wanted to eat my own dog food here. I was like, hey, I've done a number of pitches, but no one really gives you solid feedback afterwards.
Yeah.
You get a yes and a no, and so having an AI coach as well as the role play, it really breaks down, hey, this is what you did really well. These are the things that you could have been more curious about, gone deeper into. You actually missed the cue, or you possibly created a red flag when you answered it that way, right? And so it's all these things that are really easy to just build into. Look, I'm talking 5 minutes. So it's 5 minutes, create the scenario, tell it the scenario, point it at their website and say, this is the VC or the family office that I'm meeting. It'll look at their history, everything, and then it will create the simulation. So it's pretty powerful.
Fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll put a third wow in there for it. Wow. Yeah. So I mean, this is an interesting space, right? And I actually am building a coaching platform that does have a similar capability in terms of the way you can role play. In your research when you were building this, can yours sort of take on a personality? So if I want my humanoid bot to be a certain person, if I wanted to talk to David every day, and I want to give it David's personality, can we do that? Can we say, hey, I want David to give me a hard time every day?
You got it.
Yeah.
Can it do that? Or is that where it's going? I mean, in your view, is it so much so that we're going to be able to sort of pick the person we want to be coached by?
I think so. I think, at least for our company, this is why our product's called immersive training, because immersion is really not so much about, VR devices or things like that. I believe immersion is just the sense of feeling like you're in the moment. Like if you're watching a movie and you're immersed, it feels like you're in that moment, or playing a game. And the same for training. I feel that whilst it's very easy to probably tick the box of what is role play, I think the difference between effective role play and ineffective role play is all about immersion. Does it simulate what you experience in the real world really well? And that's why we've invested obviously $30 million in R&D in this technology, so that it really does do what you're talking about. The personality traits of David come through. Maybe it's more brutal, but brutal is not just about language. It's how you communicate
right.
through your eyes. It's like,
Yeah.
Right.
bro, that's the dumbest thing you could say. Like that makes you feel, you trigger in that. You're like, hey man, don't
Yeah.
judge me, right? Like these are the things.
The micro expressions, all of the different things that you pick up on. Right.
Totally. Exactly right. And so this is where we're really pushing the boundaries of our technology, is to immerse you in like watching facial cues. So many salespeople monologue and they don't even read the cues on the face, where people are dialing out. Or it was shared earlier, like doctors who may be giving information, but they're not realizing that people aren't actually understanding it. You can actually read that in someone's face. Or there's a lack of empathy and you're crushing them. And so there's a way of like doing these things, right? And I feel like this is where we get better as a human race.
Yeah, it's such a great proof of what I believe since the early 90s technology is here for, to make humans more human. To that end, we talk about emotional simulation. And it seems to be impossible for a machine to actually evoke emotion, but they can simulate it. Do you foresee in the advancements of the technology that the difference between actual having emotions and the apparent simulation of emotion would be seamless someday? Could the processing speed and the adaptive learning create a simulation that is mirroring or seamless to true emotion?
I'm actually writing a book on this very topic, and I'm going to release it next year.
Wasn't even in my notes. I just picked up on that.
Yeah.
But I'm an advanced AI. They haven't really even realized what I am yet.
And I think what makes it a great question is because, I've spent over 6 years trying to get deeper and deeper into what makes us human, to simulate it in the most real and meaningful ways. And I would say that AI, for at least several years, will be very good at what I would call display versus depth. Depth comes from lived experience, from when you were born, with the way your father treated you, through to the first failure, the first time you asked a girl out and she shut you down, or whatever that looks like. All these experiences, they inform a level of emotional depth that is very hard to just simulate. We can display and we can create patterns and predictions, but there is a big difference. And the more we go into that, the more we realize how sophisticated we really are and complex we are as humans. I think that's encouraging, because what it says is there's so much more to our potential than maybe what we've even given credit to. And it's not just our ability to hold memory and information and be logical. I think our superpowers will get enhanced by actually handing some of that off to AI and being forced to look at what are our real superpowers as humans.
That is amazing, Danny. Triple wow times 3. That's 9 wows on the 800th episode of Office Hours, the soul of business. Incredible. Digitalhumans.com. Get a unique perspective, a unique look into the future. It's amazing. Right out of Austin, Texas. Danny, promise us you'll keep us updated. You'll come on our other shows. I know these guys want to interview you individually as well. Thank you again. Wow is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Great
You
job.
bet. Thanks, Danny.
Man, that is amazing.
That
And
is
I
a
love
lot.
that. I love the perspective of, this allows humans to be more human. It's not, you got to be afraid of it because, now you can have, a million Rets out there helping everybody and, it's going to put him out of his job. No, it's going to make Rhett more Rhett-like. In fact, excuse the pun, it's going to make Rhett more
Or,
powerful.
oh,
There we go. That a boy. All right, let's finish up strong and Boston strong. That's where we're going to finish up with Calvin Wilder here, CEO and founder at Smart Books. Calvin, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to speaking with you guys. Although I hope I'm not too much of a downer after that last conversation.
Oh, trust me, we're here with Blaine. There's no downers when you're
hey,
with
we're
Blaine.
going to find
He's
a
super.
wow here. We're going to
Yeah,
find a wow.
exactly. Blaine's a toptimist, and then Papa over there is the poptimist, and so we're extremely positive here. But financial operating systems can only get so exciting, so we'll give you that. But you've also been doing it for over 25 years, and so many people don't pay attention or give intention to their finances. And it takes companies like yours to help us with Smart Books to have the correct information and be intentional with that information, which can change the face of our personal and professional lives. What are some of the things that Smart Books does to get over the resistance that people have in their finances and take control of those?
Yeah, I mean, I'll preface this by saying I think accountants as a profession have kind of failed to deliver on their potential to help small business owners, right? You get your tax accountant in April, they tend to tell you how much you owe in taxes for the last year, but that doesn't really help you run your business. Or your bookkeeper or your controller gives you financial statements for last month to tell you how much revenue and expense and profit you had last month, but that doesn't help you a whole lot. They're not, I think the key is like analyzing the ratios and the performance metrics and forecasting and looking forward and planning for the future. Don't just tell the business owner how they did last month, but tell them what their trends are over time, over the years, trailing 3 months, trailing 12 months, over the last year. What's the forecast for the next year? What are the metrics that you can actually manage? How do you operationalize to hit these metrics to get the financial results that you want in the future? And so that's what we're all about. Yeah, a lot of what we do, you say, is basic bookkeeping. We reconcile bank accounts, we file tax returns, and everything in between. But the reality is, what I strive to do is figure out with the client, using the 6 steps in my book, The Financial Operating System, like what are they trying to accomplish by owning their business? What are the financial objectives? How do we measure those? Let's get some systems in place to report those on a weekly and monthly basis. And then let's figure out what you need to do to achieve the financial targets that you set out to achieve, and kind of take control over the operation instead of kind of being reactive. Like, you own this business, you got the most risk on the line, you have the most to gain. So let's figure out how you can achieve that.
The idea of a financial resource serving as a strategic partner in my organization has always been attractive to me. And my problem with accounting has been exactly as you described. It's back looking. It's kind of like, okay, and at the very most current, I'm only about 30 days out. I mean, it's kind of, so the projection element. I was fascinated when I was at university. Not so much about accounting. I hated my accounting work, but business statistics fascinated me. The statistical overlay, just kind of, and using it to actually kind of looking at trends and then dropping them into the table and going, okay, if this, then that. Okay, where does that come into play? And in my experience with most entrepreneurs, they don't pay attention to that statistical flavor. How does Smart Books, if I was to partner with you and you were to partner with our organization, what would you be bringing to the table that would be different than accounting services?
Yeah, I mean, we do the standard accounting service stuff, but then on top of that, we'd be delivering a monthly financial performance metric scorecard we would design specifically for your business based on your objectives. Maybe you are looking to grow aggressively, and we need to look at more around revenue growth and cost of customer acquisition and a return on marketing investment and growth oriented metrics. Or maybe you've got a nice business, you're not looking to grow it a ton, but you want to optimize profitability and cash flow. So then we're going to be looking at how do we tweak the profit margins and the pricing and the cost structure, and let's measure receivables, day sales outstanding, or whatever it is that's going to reflect on profitability and cash flow. So it's really an exercise of, yeah, when we onboard you, we get your accounting and bookkeeping and taxes done, but we really want to know, like, what are you trying to accomplish? And then based on our experience, we'll give you a short, concise scorecard. You don't need to look at, 100 lines on a P&L. You can look at 5 or 10 lines on a scorecard and see how your business is performing against the goals that we set out with you. So it's really kind of taking the next level. It's using, being a consumer of the financial statements to help manage the business. That's what we're trying to do.
I'd love to know, you're absolutely right. This is like one of the least sexy topics. And I know in my coaching practice, and I know David and Blaine have probably experienced this, but this is one of those things that people don't want to talk much about. But this is probably where they need the most help. How do you make this sexy to an entrepreneur who's really focused on the product, really focused on, the customers, and like Blaine, I hated accounting when I was in school. My least favorite conversation. And how do you make it exciting and how do you I'd love to know how you market this and get people really excited about accounting.
Well, that's hard. I don't know.
What's the ROI? Like when you talk to somebody, a small business owner or a medium-sized business, like what's the ROI of really doing this well?
So I use an analogy. I can sell you a pain reliever, or I can sell you vitamins. Like if you can't even get your accounts reconciled and your taxes filed on time, you're in pain and you need a pain reliever, and I can give you that, but it's kind of a commodity. Or let's say you've got the basics in place, but you've got this vision. You started this business. You have grand ambitions and goals, but in order to achieve those, you need a financial foundation and you need some financial guidance along the way. Because you can go and develop the best product in the world, but just like if you're a developer but you can't sell and market anything, no one's going to buy it, right? And so whatever you figure out what that passion area is, you've got this unique ability, and then kind of fill in the gaps to help you realize that dream. So let's figure out what that dream is. And let's figure out how we're going to measure that dream, and where are the gaps that we need to fill to help you realize that dream. And almost nobody goes into business because they love accounting or they're really good at accounting, right? And so it's really kind of, how do we support that dream and report against that dream, and not, alleviate the burden so the business owner's not worrying about stupid little crap that they don't need to worry about. Focus them on the dream, give them even 2, 3, 4 metrics that help show progress against that dream, things that people can go to work to every day and work on. And if they just hit these metrics, the business advances toward that dream. So that, a lot of people are never going to love accounting, and it's hard to make that.
You know why? Because they always tell me no. That's what that's why.
That's a good point.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. I'd say yes, and here's how it's possible. That's the key.
That's
Saying
what
no isn't allowed. Is yes, and here's how it's possible.
I love that. And it is possible. Remember, it's easy to make money, but you need to engineer wealth. And in order to engineer wealth, we need to have smart books to do so, and smart people. Thank you much, Calvin, for joining us. Go to smartbooks.com, get someone and something, not only to you make money, but to engineer your wealth. We will have you back. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. I'm going to go online and check this out myself. I need some more engineering. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your
Thanks,
time.
Cal.
I got one word to say. Wow. That was great.
Wow.
Thank you. Thanks, Calvin. All right, gentlemen, that is the 800 episode. I couldn't think of 2 better people to spend my 800 episode with. It's Office Hours, the soul of business. Time for takeaway of the day. Which one of you fine feathered friends would like to go next?
Maybe we can have a collective maybe a collective word. Let's just leave it at wow.
Wow. That's,
Wow. Is that what
Yeah.
you want to
Wow.
end it?
800 episodes. Wow.
wow.
Triple
Great
wow.
guest.
Takeaway for the day is wow. 3 wow guests. And it's not easy to make accounting a wow, but Calvin did that as well. So he finished strong. And I loved your feedback there, Rhett, that, people don't like to do certain things. And that's always what's behind it. And they don't like no. And so develop your relationship with no. But here on Office Hours, we're developing your relationship with how and wow. That's our takeaway of the day. I want to thank both of you. Blaine Bartlett, my mentor, go to blainebartlett.com. My business partner, Rhett Power. He's getting more and more powerful every day. I look forward to episode 801 with you guys. So thank you.
Have a great weekend.
We're almost there. It's been a long month this week in episode 800 of Office Hours. We will be in Monterey this weekend. Then we will be in Vegas, Office Hours season 9. Hopefully Rhett and Blaine will be with me. Then we will be in Los Alamitos with Go Fund Yourself. Then we'll be in SoFi Stadium Mastermind. Then we'll be in New York for a VIP dinner meetup holding court and keynote at the 1% event. Then down to Jacksonville with Aspire for meetup and holding court in Jacksonville, Florida. Back to New York for the investor VIP dinner meetup in holding court in Manhattan. And then out to Columbus, Ohio. We'll be in Columbus, Ohio with the Aspire Tour. Gary Vaynerchuk, myself, Ed Milet, Eddie Wilson, Andrew Cordell, Mr. Wonderful himself, Kevin O'Leary. Come and join us on the Aspire Business Tour. We are here to help people make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. If you want to be informed and invited, just text me, 949-298-2905. Stay informed, stay invited. If you don't want to be informed or invited, don't text me at 949-298-2905. But remember, most importantly, regardless, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.